Alright, we've made it to the shipper in Tyler, Texas. This is where I was last night. Like around, around 11:30, somewhere around there last night. And I took that load to Joaquin, Texas. Finished that up around 6 this morning. Made it to the truck stop around 6:45, 7 o'clock. Put myself in brake.
In 1,000 feet, make a U-turn.
Alright, so before I got interrupted by the navigation there, started my brake around 7-ish this morning. Got out of brake around 4:45. And I got the call for this load. This is going to St. Augustine, Texas, which I found out now it's 122 miles. All right, 122 miles from here. Again, the load pays $637.58. So go ahead and do the math. That's the gross pay rate. So 637. I'll be getting $452.68 out of that. And for this customer, I don't think they offer fuel surcharge. But I'm not 100% on that. But a little bit busy, not too bad. Last night I was pretty quick to get in the scale and then go to the silo. Here at the scale where you scale in, they do have a safety rack so you can open your hatches as soon as you give the scale house guy your information. He gets your empty weight, then you can go ahead and open your hatches using the safety rack. Alright, we just got notified through the CB what lane to pull into. So we get into lane 2. We got Total to Tuttle to the left of me, Chalk Mountain. Both lanes, actually, I think 3 and 2. Lane 4, got 1845, picking up 4070. He just rolled on it, and I was like, oh, what the? Oh, never mind, he's picking up 4070. So everybody that was in line where I was at was waiting for 100 mesh. I was like, oh, lucky dog. But they load pretty quick here, less than 10 minutes. You just line up your hatches one at a time. The guy will be communicating with you through CB, letting you know whether you need to pull up, back up, or you need to shift to the left or right, because you got to get that spout lined up right on the middle of the hatch to prevent any spills. After he's gotten you done, he'll tell you you're ready for signature, and you just pull up a couple of more feet. There's a blue box where it'll already be on the signature screen. You just sign it with your finger, hit the OK button, and then it'll print out here. It'll print out 2 tickets. So one's going to be for your copies, and the other one's going to be for the customer, of course. That's your BOL, and it's like the size of a receipt, very thin. After that, once you've gotten your copies, there's no third copy to turn in because you did an electronic signature, so they already have your signature on record that you signed off on this BOL. So you're just gonna pull up. I don't know if you can see it, but beyond these silos, there's a safety rack. outside, and that's where you're going to close your hatches. And after you do that, you're good to go. I was just admiring this dude's truck, this KW, and noticed this. So y'all guys, y'all gotta be careful. You get pulled over, you can get a ticket for that. You notice that it's layered and it's rubbing against, so he knows that it's rubbing against the sidewalk, but he's layering it so it won't rub completely through. But if you're not monitoring that, all that rubbing could eventually affect the hose and you get a leak. But you get pulled over, cop sees that, he's gonna give you a ticket. So what he needs is to put another spring kit, a tender kit, like from this point or somewhere in between to that, to kind of keep it lifted. And at least the spring is going to give the slack when he's going to make a left or right turn, sharp or left turn, so that way it still won't make contact with the catwalk, and it'll still keep it suspended while you're making those turns and give you that slack you need, so that way it doesn't pull or harm the hose. But yeah, make sure you keep track of that. I just thought I'd go ahead and show you that since I spotted that. But dude's doing it right. At least he's got an APU. I definitely want to put an APU on this truck, especially with summer coming up. So yeah, save up on fuel somewhat, I guess, but I'm not really 100% sure how much. I'm sure there's a big difference. I wonder if anybody out there knows how much you would save using an APU versus having the truck idle per hour. I know it'd probably be tough to have these specific numbers, like, okay, you use up this many gallons of diesel if you idle the truck in 1 hour, versus you'll use up this much amount of diesel using an APU. Alright, so I'm getting loaded in my middle hatch right now, but this is the box I was talking about. Let's see, you might be able to see it on this other guy's screen. But yeah, basically on the top portion of that screen, you're going to sign with your finger, and then you're going to hit the accept button. Then after that, it'll print out your tickets and dispense there. Here, it prints out very slow, so it takes about like 30 seconds before you finally get your first ticket, and then about 10 seconds you'll get your following ticket. And then there's the safety racks up there. But yeah, all these safety racks, they're going to be a little bit different. This one here, the cage actually is big enough to cover 2 hatches at one time. Others, it'll be one hatch and then you have to move your truck, or it'll be 1 hatch and then you can slide that cage back and forth. So yeah, you gotta figure it out the first time, and then that way, you know, the second time around you can line it up exactly where it needs to be without having to get back in the truck and move it, then get back in the truck and move it because you're not lining up correctly. So yeah, something to pay attention to when you're coming out here and opening your hatches using the safety racks. Same thing with the scale. When I got here on this scale, I was actually too far to the right, so I had to back up and move over a couple inches so I could line up perfectly with the spout. So yeah, little things like that, you need to pay attention to detail, and it'll help you out for the next go around or every time you come back to this shipper. So just something to keep in mind, guys. And also, I forgot to mention, you want to put at least your hard hat on. A lot of these places, you don't know if you come to a shipper for the first time, you don't know how strict they are. Some relaxed, you know, you can just go out in a t-shirt, even though technically you're not supposed to. You're supposed to be in full PPE gear, you know, without, you know, no ear protection or respirator required. Just, you know, safety glasses, you know, everything except for the respirator and ear protection. Some are very strict. Some will have safety guys, you know, observing the drivers as they come in, opening their hatches and all that. So, you know, just to be safe, first time here, have your safety glasses, your hard hat, long sleeve shirt, your FRC, you know, shirt, pants, your steel toe boots, and your gloves, of course, and you'll be fine. But after a couple of times, you'll kind of figure out, like, okay, which ones are pretty lax on the safety policies and which are very strict. You don't want to get banned from a shipper. Shoot, that could terminate you, because then you're limited to where you can go. But alright, ticket 1. Ticket 2. That's it. I go up to the safety rack, close our hatches. Now, pretty much I just gotta get the information from my BOL that I got printed out, my weight, and the ticket number for the shipper, and submit all that information and give them an ETA of what time I'll get to the actual well site. But talk to y'all later. When you're using the safety rack, make sure you put it in the all the way up locked position. You don't want that thing to swing down just in case you left it unlocked and come on your trailer, and then next thing you know, you're breaking apart their safety rack because you're pulling it because it got caught on your trailer somehow. But yeah, make sure it's in the all the way up locked position. When you're unlocking it to use it, there's usually a pedal on the bottom right hand side of the hinge area. You have to push it down to unlock it. Well, when you're pulling it all the way back up, sometimes they'll have a safety rope so you can grab it and pull it, or just grab the handle and do it. Or sometimes they have a long handle that extends downward. You can push that down all the way and then it'll lock up. So yeah, make sure it's locked every time you finish using it. So yeah, just want to make sure I didn't leave that out. So, all right, so we're at the staging pad for this well. We got redirected to go to the stage. We were instructed to go to the staging pad, and again, on the instructions that we had, they didn't say anything about a staging pad. So they told us to head back out to the main road, turn left, and it's about a mile away, and to go to the staging pad. Now, there's nobody here, but usually the case is wherever there's a spotlight, usually there's a book or notepad there. And since it's been raining, you see that they have the actual flaps open, I guess, for the engine to breathe because they have it running. There is a bucket in between the flaps, right in the middle section, and it has a Sharpie marking saying sign here, sign in here. And underneath that bucket is a notepad. It has all the trucks that have come through here. Basically, you're putting in your truck information, your truck number, what are you hauling, what time you got here, and company name. And that's it. Then they go down to the list. But we have 7 trucks here, so might have a chance to maybe get 2, 3, maybe 4 hours of sleep. Who knows, depending on how slow the process is. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to get some sleep in. And it's right now it's 11:40 at night on the 13th of April. Alright, so that's it for now. Alright, we're leaving the staging pad, we finally, 11:30 in the morning, get a knock on the door, and all right, we're good to go to the well. I did get a knock on the door an hour ago, but the guy thought I had 40/70 sand. Told him no, I got 100. So I said, never mind. So I'm heading to the well now. It's about a mile away from here. Maybe a little over a mile. So we got paid to sleep